We are heading towards the Festival of Rugby League out there in the Sin City, the entertainment capital of the world. Astronauts in the Space Centre say that this is the brightest place in the world. Now, guaranteed to dim that place down is Karl Walker, who's heading out there to take in the games.
Oh, cheers for that intro. Right, in this episode, we're going to be following on from our prediction show. We're going to be giving our predictions on the Wigan and Warrington game. First game kicking us off in Vegas. We're going to dive into the other games with a sniper, Cronulla, Penrith, Canberra and New Zealand Warriors. We're also going to touch on the women's international game. And the sniper's going to throw a few bets at us that he thinks are going to come in this week.
And we're going to round this episode off with our broadcasting schedule for when Karl's out there taking in the scenes. We'll put it to test. Does what happened in Vegas stay in Vegas, or do we manage to transmit it through these screens into your TVs?
This episode is sponsored by therugbystore.co.uk.
More on that a little bit later on. Right, Karl, let's get into it. Event intro on my list of stuff to talk about. How excited are you? I know we've been banging on about this for weeks.
Yeah.
You know, and there's been the excitement of, is he going? Is he not going? Is he going? You are going. It's 100% locked in, unlike Sam Burgess. However, you know, just talk to me now. As we're approaching the flight out there, how are you feeling?
Well, I suppose we should rate it, shouldn't we? A Rugby League Outsiders 1 to 10 rating on how excited I am, and it's 100, mate. It's a 10 out of 10. I can't wait to get there. Just take in the atmosphere, the stadium. Just watch some NRL and the best of Super League all going at it on one big occasion, one marathon occasion. Yeah,
I've got a couple of questions for you. Do you know how much it was reported that the stadium cost to build?
No, I don't know, actually. I know it's an amazing stadium, but I ain't got a clue.
Have a stab.
I ain't got a clue. I literally ain't got a clue.
1.9 billion.
Billion?
Billion. Like billion. It was a crackers amount.
Jesus.
So when we're talking about like stadium tours and you know, an atmosphere and facilities and stuff like that, like this is gonna be top notch. Okay, let's test your knowledge as well then. So which American teams play there then? Which American?
The Oakland Raiders. Well, the Raiders. The LA Oakland Raiders have moved. The Vegas Raiders, as they're called these days. Yeah, they've moved franchises a number of times.
Well, do you know there's also a university team that play there, which just sounds crackers to me. So the University of Nevada in Las Vegas. The University of Nevada, Las Vegas Rebels college football team. Any old mouthful. So can you imagine like playing at college? I know college football out there is much different to like university football or whatever here in the UK. But can you imagine like just having that as your team, as your pitch?
I can, because I've seen it. I've been to watch Miami Hurricanes, and that was the college team, and there was 70,000 fans almost there playing at the Miami Dolphins Stadium. So yeah, it's something we can't get used to in this country. But college football's just an absolute monster, mate, over there. Yeah, and because you can't actually get tickets for. You know, if you live in Miami, chances are you can't get tickets for Miami Dolphins. So everybody goes and spots the college side. So yeah, it's massive, mate. Okay,
next thing I want to ask you, what you're travelling out in? You know, because all sorts. Like I said, the brightest place on earth. All right. Now, I'm not saying you've got questionable fashion sense, but you know, you have worn some absolute shockers in the past. What are you planning on travelling in?
Well, I think I'll wear me Penrith Panthers top that I got from the rugbystore.co.uk.
That wasn't I didn't mean
How good
that,
did I plug that?
Yeah, no, but it was a great transition.
Tracky bottoms and sliders, mate. That's how I roll. Sliders, yeah.
Sliders?
Yeah, sliders. On the plane, sliders.
Right. Here is the first bit of interaction on this video. Sliders, yes or no? Like, I am massively against sliders. Like, sliders, there's only one person walks into my house in sliders, and that's him. And that's because I can't find another co-host to replace him. Otherwise, it'd be out of here.
With my I'll have my flight socks on as well with him.
What do you mean, your flight socks?
Flight socks.
Stop you getting DVT.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right, so that's what you're travelling out in. Obviously, you're going to have an abundance of camera gear and sound recording gear as well. And a big stock of Rugby League Outsiders caps as well.
Yeah, we've got some Rugby League Outsiders caps left over from the Nines Festival that we hosted last year. So I'm going to take them out there, start dishing them out, and see who we can get wearing the Rugby League Outsiders stash in Vegas.
Yeah, and there's a little code, isn't there? So if you approach Karl and you give him this code, then you can get yourself a cap. What can you remember what it is?
From the outside in. Yeah, that's the code.
So from the outside in, it'll sort you out with a cap. Right, should we have a look at some of these teams?
100%, mate. First game, Wigan v Warrington. Rolling straight into our predictions show. Wigan, red hot last week against Hull. Jaifield, masterclass. Warrington at the, what was that stadium called again? at the Luke Littler Stadium, took Catalan apart, although it wasn't that convincing. So, Craig, how do you see this one kicking off?
Kicking off, I'm not so sure. However, in the run-up to it, it's going to be a mouth-watering prospect because both teams have got a win in the second round of Super League. Yeah. Everything to play for. Obviously, Wigan has got that blotch on their history now where they were beat by Lee in the first round. And people sort of saying that they had their eye on this game in Vegas. Now, none of these teams are going to want to lose. That is 100%. Nobody wants to be that team that travels all that way and loses. Other things, right, around the game. Sam Burgess still hasn't secured his transit to Vegas.
Yeah, at the time of recording this, yes, 100%. So is that going to play into account? Surely they knew going into this. Surely it could have been sorted out. No,
but I think with this process, it can be lengthy, and I don't think they kind of speed it up for anybody. I think it was just a case of it'll happen, don't worry, be optimistic, and then actually we just kind of run out of time. So I don't know, we don't know the ins and outs. It's just unfortunate, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We need Big Sam there, don't we? It's part of the show.
Yeah, and we know the presence he has. We know the effect he has. That time last season when they mic'd him up during the game, and the way that he is with the players, and I think he really gives players belief, and they're going to need every bit of that to take on, the quadruple winners in Wigan that were just on fire against Hull, weren't they? I mean, they barely put a foot wrong.
Well, take the whole game to one side. I mean, yeah, their attacking shape was just lightning fast, wasn't it? It was so deep, but take the whole game to one side for a minute, and I think you've got to start looking at the grand finals that they've won, and I think this is why Wigan are favourites for this one. They know how to win these big occasions, and with Wigan, what you seem to get whenever they get to a Challenge Cup final, a grand final, a playoff semi-final, they play the same way as they do if they're playing just a regular season game, and they don't seem to get flustered by the big occasion. Harry Smith, he's a master now at pulling his team around the park in these big games. He's such a great organiser. And then when you take your eye off the ball as the away side, you've got those X-factor players, your Bevan Frenchies, your Jaifields, Jake Wardle out in the centres, and you take your eye off the game for a minute and they'll hurt you. For that reason, the big game experience, I'm going Wigan win on this one.
Yeah, I'd love to sit here and say I'm going to go wire and be like, the opposing force in this, but I can't see there being any other result than Wigan winning. I think it's going to be a narrow win. I really do.
I think it'll be narrow.
Is going to take out of it. I think that the temperature, the weather conditions out there, it's going to stifle the game a little bit. But I think Harry Smith is. He's going to have an absolute kicking masterclass. Jaifield is definitely one to watch after his hat-trick, hero performance last week. And it's time already. We're getting into round 3 of Super League that Bevan French kicked on and did something incredible, and I think this is the week he's going to do it on the biggest stage in Rugby League.
I'm looking forward to watching that George Williams v Harry Smith clash between those two as well. I think kicking game could be really important in this game. I think 40-20s could make or break this game. It's gonna go down to 1 or 2 tries, isn't it? Maximum, I would have thought. So, yeah, the battle between those two will be really interesting to watch, see how that unfolds.
Yeah, and narrow pitch as well. So that, when you're talking about 40-20s, I've not actually considered it. Then maybe that'll be part of the overall team plan because it is such a narrow pitch. Another thing to bear in mind is these kicks over, which Harry Smith and George Williams are very, very good at. This pitch might not favour that because it's got such a narrow in-goal area. However, both teams have got strike players that can score, with hand in ball as well, or ball in hand as well. So, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, you'd like to think Matty Ashton's probably going to get one at some point during this game. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays out, but I can't wait for it. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting for the Warrington fans and the Wigan fans, all going out there in this superstar stadium and just getting behind their team. So, who knows? But I'm tipping Wigan just.
Okay, this game kicks off 21:30 GMT on the 1st of March. Can't wait for this. Moving on to the next couple of games, then we're going to dive into the NRL fixtures, and there's only one person to go to for that. Now, some say that he has beat every casino in Nevada. He beat the house every time, and therefore he's banned from every casino. Hence, that's why he's not going. All we know is he's called the Sniper. Welcome back, Sniper.
Great to be here. How are you guys?
Pumped, mate. Pumped. Can't wait. It's on the horizon, so I'm mega excited, and I want all the info. I want all the inside info, and we only had one man to come to when it was regarding NRL news. So, Sniper, first of all, let's just talk about your bets, because you're gonna give us 2 massive bets during this show. The last 2 you give us, they've all come in, haven't they? Tommy Turbo for try scorer, that came in. Last week, Harry Robertson, you told me he's a sure bet for a try scorer. That came in. So viewers should stay tuned for later on in the show for 2 big bets that are coming in for Vegas. I can't wait, mate.
Yeah. Am I actually allowed the Harry Robertson one? Because I said to you I wasn't sure. We need to check this. Are you going to let that through?
I'm going to let it slide, mate.
It was unofficial.
I'm going to let it slide. Yeah, I know it was unofficial, but I'm going to let it slide. It was in the show, so if anybody was paying attention, they'd have got that one last week.
Looks like a gamble on a gamble, innit? You know what I mean? But anyway, one thing for sure, we're 2 from 2 now. You know what I mean? So all good going into the big event.
Yeah, and Sniper, anybody that signs up to your NRL or Super League tips this week, you've got a special offer for them, haven't you?
We've got a joint one, haven't we?
A joint, yeah.
A six again,
a six again, essentially. I don't know who's refereeing this game, but anybody who signs up to the Snipers Club this week and uses the discount code 6again, if they DM the Sniper on social media, he'll give you a free 6 days on the Sniper, and then another 6 again, free 6 days on the Rugby League Outsiders, so you can get 12 free days worth of NRL and Super League tips.
That's it. Perfect, guys. And if you can also stick that in the comments in YouTube, that will help us keep a track of it. Because what we want to do is a little birdie told me we'd reached 500,000 views. Is that true?
That is true. Yeah, unbelievable. I remember in our first 12 months we got to like 20,000 views, and we thought we'd cracked it. We thought, this is it. We're superstars. Little do we know there were a lot of hard graft to come after that. And anyway, recently, in fact, just a couple of days ago, we ticked over to more than 500,000 views, and looking back, we've done it in super quick time, and the channel is really gaining momentum, and obviously the input that you're putting in there is invaluable as well. So big pats on the back all round, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, let's put it all on red for 1 million. Right, Sniper. Let's get into the first NRL game of the Vegas series. Only one man for the job. The Green Machine versus the New Zealand Warriors. We've called you in to give us the team news. How's it looking for both sides?
Right, so game 1, Allegiant Stadium sees the Canberra Raiders, known as the Milk, take on the New Zealand Warriors. It's going to be an interesting game. The couple of things to look out for before we start. We're playing on a narrow pitch with a short in-goal area. And if you look back to last year, the first game was relatively high scoring. The second game was low scoring. So logically speaking, it's going to be quite hard to get the grubbers through.
Yeah.
And those aerial balls are going to make a massive difference. And the interesting thing in the first game is we've got a clash between two teams with superstar halfbacks. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to have to look at. The other thing that the NRL have done this year is they brought in incorrect play the balls. So they're clamping down on that. So if anyone hasn't played the ball properly, or there's a roll ball or something, there's an instant turnover of possession, no matter where you are on the pitch.
Right.
So, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. God knows what they're up to, the refs and all this. But you can have your team literally three meters away from the try line, and then they call up some random incorrect play the ball, and there's an immediate turnover. So keep an eye on that and whether that starts to impact the game or whether that's used to try and engineer a close game, which we spoke about last week. Because I'm convinced at some point, probably over the course of this weekend, there's going to be a Hail Mary play in one of the 4 games. But we'll come on to that in a little bit. So, should we start with the players to look out for?
Yeah, who are the players to look out for on both Canberra and the Warriors, mate?
Yeah, so for Canberra, you want to look out for a guy called Jamal Fogarty. He's Canberra's halfback. If you think the Nathan Cleary bombs are good, you've got to watch Fogarty's. I think they're even better.
Right.
They just go up into the night sky. They're almost impossible to catch. Torpedoes, all sorts of different types of bombs. And he's the key component, I think, that can really engineer a Raiders win. And he's going to be looking to maneuver them around the field of play with good ball. He's a king of a grubber. What he normally likes to do is put a grubber through for Hudson Young. I think he will try it, despite the short in-goal area. And he's also a master at hitting the post and the crossbar. So last season, I think he managed to score hitting the post once himself and catching the rebound, and maybe even one off the crossbar too, in the same game. That's how insane this guy's skill is. So Jamal Fogarty, Raiders halfback.
It's a bit of
gun and a weapon.
The NRL or the Fox News or whatever, they're making a bit of a play that the Raiders are very youthful this year. They haven't got a great deal of experience, although they've got lots of speed, and skill. It's very youthful. Do you think that's going to play a part?
I think they're in a period of transition, but I think they're ahead of the curve. So last year we started to see them really start to blood their youth. And players like Jordan Rapinoe left, Elliot Whitehead left. They left probably a year or so too early so that they could start this 4-year plan in good time. And we've seen kids come through that are really, really exciting. There's a kid called Kyo Weeks, who we'll come on to in a moment, who's their fullback, who's a gun, super fast, quite a lot of similarities with David Armstrong, who's gone to Lee. And I think he's going to be a really, really good watch. So I think they're ahead of the curve. I think they're underrated. And the issue last season was that their playmaker, Jamal Fogarty, got injured about halfway through the season. So they ended up not really, well, they didn't make the 8, and they impressed for probably the first half of the season or so. Yeah. So I think you'll see a much, much better year from them. Underrated, good coach, things are going well. Yeah, quite hot on them this year. So they could make the 8. And they're that kind of smoky to make the 8.
Yes, Canberra finished 9th last year, didn't they?
Yeah, okay. So big tick for Jamal Fogarty there. Who else should we be keeping out for the Raiders?
So their fullback, Kyo Weeks. He's a gun rookie halfback. He's quick, potentially as quick or even quicker than David Armstrong, who's just gone to Lee. He can score from even the smallest hint of a chance, and he's got a serious turn of foot as well. He can be found out in defence, though, so you can see him score a try from anywhere. Now, I think the other thing to watch out for is Jamal Fogarty. The Warriors have got a very small winger on the right-hand side who's normally a fullback. So he's going to be putting up bombs and trying to kick through the lines to unsettle to a Picky, who is, a rookie for the Warriors. That's something to keep an eye out for. But yeah, so Kyo Weeks, definite gun, and master of disaster, if you like, guys.
Yeah,
Danny Levi.
Who we know very well from the Super League.
Oh dear. Now we spoke about this earlier in the season. We were saying, why didn't the Raiders sign someone like Judah Rimbu? Danny Levi came on in pre-season. Canberra were well ahead, I think, and the game just completely flipped. So, he's either on the interchange bench or in the reserve. I think he's in the reserve. If he comes on and you're looking for an angle, a betting angle, guys, in Canberra ahead, you might want to try and flip that and bet the opposing team, the Warriors, as soon as you see Danny Levi's face. So, master of disaster, Danny Levi.
Right, finally then, just one player that we know pretty well, Morgan Smithies. He's already been a naughty boy over there. He's got himself into a little bit of an altercation with a rubber hammer or an inflatable hammer or something along those lines. Are we likely to see Morgan Smithies play?
Yeah, I think we are. I don't know how much impact he's actually going to have. I thought the more interesting news over the course of this morning when the teams are released was that Matthew Nicholson wasn't in the team and that Zach Hosking was.
Right.
This is liable to change, though, guys. So, no Matthew Nicholson. Hosking, who used to play for the Panthers, has come in. He'll be right side second row. He's a good player. One thing I did notice, though, is he and Matty Timoko, who's the right centre, tend to get in each other's way a bit. So I would have probably rather seen Matthew Nicholson there. But, they want to come back home with the chocolates, have a good performance. They put Hosking in, who's experienced and is a good player. So... yeah, I'm just not a fan of that Timoko-Hosking partnership myself.
Right. So I'm looking forward to the...
I thought the Smithies news was pathetic. What the hell was that?
It's just
embarrassing.
At the start of every season, there's something like that happens, isn't there? And it was probably absolutely nothing. But yeah, the media train just blows stuff out of proportion, doesn't it?
It was reported by a guy called Danny Weidler, who's a bit of a weasel. He's known to be the weasel of all journalists in Australia.
Right.
So it sounds like clickbait or something. When there's a boxing fight and they engineer some kind of scuffle beforehand in Vegas. It sounds like that to me. I'm not buying it. It was lame.
I mean, we're getting slightly off track here, but again, like listening to Fox News' coverage of the run-up to the event, they were sort of saying that a couple of the coaches have allowed 2 or 3 days of almost debauchery ahead of the event for people to go and experience Vegas and, allow grown adults to be adults, but under no illusion that when, 2 days out from the game, they're back in and it's business as usual. So... I don't know. The fact that there's not more stories could be more of an indication of the professionalism that there is out there.
They're probably keeping English lads under lock and key, that's why.
Yeah. Well, the worst one, Burgess, isn't even there.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Have they cleared him yet?
No.
Has he been cleared to go?
At the time of recording this, no. He's still waiting to get himself an EasyJet flight to Mexico, I think.
Is he going around the houses to try and get there?
It might be the only way he can get in. It's not looking good at this moment in time, but like I say, we're recording this a couple of days early.
Maybe I can put a call into my man in Havana. He could probably sort it out. A little bit of intervention.
Right, we've done the Canberra Raiders. I'm looking forward to it. I hope they bring the bloody big horn with them, the Viking horn. That should be an experience.
Well, there's a story behind that. Haven't they recruited somebody to do that? Do the Viking call for them?
Oh, I don't know. I ain't heard that.
Yeah,
I've been looking out for it.
We'll have to in the interval. We'll do a little bit of digging and we'll work that story out. But
what can you tell us about the New Zealand Warriors going into this game, and who are the ones to watch?
Yeah, so they finished 14th last season, but they were totally decimated by injury. And Sean Johnson, legend of the club, retired late in the season. You saw him come back and play for New Zealand in the Pacific Championships. But other gun players, Tohu Harris, ex-Melbourne Storm legend and New Zealand Warrior, he was sort of the lifeblood of the team. He's retired. He had a sort of injury that he couldn't come back from, and he was literally broken. And they've lost Aden Whenua-Blake, who you saw play for Tonga, who's one of the best forwards or second rowers in the game. So again, they're going through a period of transition, and they've got a lot of gun youngsters coming through. So you've got a couple on the bench that you'll probably see over this weekend. You've got Leka Halashima. He looks to have similarities with Aden Whenua-Blake. He's not going to be ready for a full season in the NRL, but I'm sure he's going to be an absolute weapon, underrated by the betting markets, someone decent to bet on. Another guy, a guy called Dimitrik Vaimunga. He's a massive, massive unit, and he's one of their gun youngsters. So they are starting to blood the youngsters a little bit early, because I don't think they would have predicted a year ago that they'd have lost all three. If at this point someone said, do you think we'll still have Sean Johnson, Tohu Harris, and Adam Fanua-Blake at this time of the season, they probably said, yeah. Now, circumstances have meant that they've lost all three in one go. But they have now got James Fisher-Harris, who is going to be the flag bearer for the New Zealand Warriors. A very proud Maori man. All the kids will be looking up to him. Superstar from Penrith, highly decorated. He's exactly the kind of person that you need. But can one man replace those three legends that have left? Might be a bit of a tall order. So the keys of the castle have been handed over from Shaun Johnson to Luke Metcalf, who's the new halfback. Have you guys watched him before?
I've watched some highlights on him, and he looks absolutely rapid. He was injured, wasn't he, last year, I believe? The highlights I've seen of him, he looks so quick. Yeah.
Well, he looked quick. I mean, he's now got titanium in his leg, and that always have an effect on someone's speed, from my experience. So, I'm interested to hear what you got to say about this kid.
Yeah, so he was 5'8" for them, but they've moved him over. And there was lots of speculation in the off season as to which three of the four players might be the halves pairing for the Warriors. I think he's done the right thing here. He's put Metcalf in at halfback. He's put Shannon Harris-Tavita in at 5'8", and he's dropped Tamari Martin, which wasn't expected. He's only done that this morning, so that the team sheets came out this morning. Metcalf is rapid. He's played a couple of the preseason games. He's hit 40-20s. His penalty taking's been great. Sure, he's got a drop kick in him. His range has also seemed to be quite good. So it looks like Shaun Johnson did take him under his wing, and that there was a succession plan, probably from about halfway through last season when the guy could start to walk again. So he looks really, really exciting. He's got a try-scoring rate of roughly in 1 in 2. 0 to 60 faster than Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari. Well, Lewis Hamilton in his pomp. Very, very slippery and elusive customer. So he's impressive. Now, he's not as, experienced as Jamal Fogarty. And I think that's going to be the key battle that decides that game. Who comes out on top, Fogarty or Metcalf? It's going to be as simple as that. And the Raiders do like to play a narrow game, so that might suit the narrow pitch. The Warriors like to play a little bit more expansively, but their winger, Darren Watene-Zelezniak, is out. You've got the kid on the right now, Tuapiki, who will come into a second. And you've got a rookie on the left wing. So on the face of it, not sure how wide they're going to play or if they're going to take those risks unnecessarily in this game.
Right. Tuapiki then, you just mentioned him. What do we know about this guy?
Yeah, gun fullback, really young. He's got, he can dazzle with his footwork. He's been moved to the wing, scored a couple of tries in pre-season on the wing. He's a live wire. He's undefendable at times, but he is short. So we think he's going to be targeted aerially by the Raiders for sure, and that they're probably going to try and put some of the units up against him if he's defending near the line. So that is a key potential weakness there. Yeah, we haven't really seen much of him, but he's highly rated. Big raps in New Zealand. And once you see him, you'll know what we're talking about there. So very exciting. Tame Tuapiki.
And have you got a master of disaster for New Zealand Warriors, or is that just for the Raiders?
Canberra special.
We do.
You do, yeah.
We do. Yeah. Jackson Ford.
All right.
The Wild fans are not particularly fond of him because he makes silly mistakes, loses the ball, fumbles, not secure in possession. Yeah, so he's on the interchange bench. So that's the player they'll be looking out for as a potential match swinger if someone gets injured, because he can fill in almost anywhere. He can play centre, he can play 2RF, he can play in the middle. So, with that sort of utility value that he holds, he does feel like a bit of a cooler when he comes on sometimes. So, yeah, Jackson Ford.
Right, so that's Canberra versus the New Zealand Warriors. So, Sniper, it's time. You're going to give us our first tip for the Vegas games.
Yeah, so we were going to record this on today's Tuesday. We were going to record this on Monday, but we decided to wait till the odds came out. So as soon as the odds came out, message Karl with the flyer, Mitch Barnett.
Yeah.
There's a day, Mitch Barnett to score any time. A day's passed now, and I had a phone call saying that Karl had gone in to sell a lung or something so that he could get enough cash on Mitch Barnett. Well, you dropped down the hospital on the way to the bookies, Karl?
Well, that 18 quid that I won earlier on in the season because she gave me that Tommy Turbo bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all going on this guy, mate. Yeah, so I'm quids in.
Oh, my God, because the odds have dropped now.
Ah.
I gave it to you yesterday at 10 to 1. He's now 5-1 and 4-1. So rumour had it that you'd been to the blood bank, sold the lung and the rest, and you'd had it on in the bookies on the high street.
No, that was just...
So they're onto you, Karl.
That was just a bit of a drink in Vegas.
You've sold the viewers short. Mitch Barnett, to score any time, is the flyer for this weekend, guys. Now, he really broke through last year. He played Origin. He represented the Kangaroos for the first time, and he scored in the corresponding fixture last year. So this is a really, really good bet. Is it value still at 5s or 4s after Karl's had his go on? Potentially. He may get a late drift on that. So keep an eye on it. You might want to put it in a bet builder or something and see how you go. These are the kind of bets that we do in the group, guys. So, early in the week, we had a massive bowl of strawberries and cream. Strawberries have gone now, but there's still a little cream. So if you do like to get those early prices before they move, we're ahead of the game, then, check us out. Have a look at one of the packages, whichever one suits you, the Super League and NRL or just the NRL. So that's the kind of work that we do on a regular basis.
The links for the Snipers Club are in the description below, so get clicking on them. And the Rugby League Outsiders gets a little bit of kickback as well, so if it helps you support this channel. So
talking about getting ahead of the game, obviously that game, Canberra versus New Zealand Warriors, will be midnight on the 1st of March, so make sure you sat down before that, with your popcorn and all that kind of stuff ready for that game to kick off. Moving on then to the second NRL game, Penrith Panthers, the 4-time premierships against Cronulla Sharks. This will be 4:30 in the morning on March the 2nd. So it's going to be like a megathon of rugby that night.
Not for me, mate. It'll be about 8 o'clock. I'll be just on my about 10th beer by that point. I'll definitely have no money left by that point.
Well, you know what they say. What happens in Vegas stays in the wallet.
No. What happens in Vegas gets turned into content on YouTube.
Brilliant. Right, Sniper, what we saying about this game?
I mean, the Panthers are just a cop-out, aren't they? How have they not agreed? They're scared of Wigan. They don't want to play Wigan in a World Cup challenge, do
they have said that the English teams are world champions at the minute, so, I can understand that. I can understand why they won't want to play Wigan in Vegas.
Yeah. Are you going for a beer with Liam Moore? Is he in Vegas, Karl?
I don't know. Why? What have we got against Liam Moore?
Well, I don't know. If you'd watched that last game from last year, you'd have seen that, the Panthers were completely robbed, and it was a Liam Moore special to make sure that Wigan came away with the chocolate.
The World Club Challenge? No, you're talking crap, mate.
Wasn't there a try in the corner? A Terrell May try or something?
Look, Wigan were deserved winners of the World Club Challenge. You're starting to sound like a whining Aussie now at this moment in time. I do remember, what was the excuses the year before when Saints beat them on home turf as well?
Yeah, they got mugged. Saints were actually really good. That was a different story. But the Liam Moore special, I mean, come on. If you see a Liam Moore in a pub in Vegas...
He's a good mate of mine, actually.
I wouldn't know what to say to him.
He's been on this show before.
Has he?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Send him
Send
him a text now, Karl. Send Liam Moore a text. Let's get his take on it.
I said the Sniper's onto you, mate.
Yeah.
The Sniper lost...
Asking for a prediction.
The Sniper lost some bets last year.
No, we'd have been on the unders. Wouldn't have mattered with us, but, never mind. Yeah,
right.
So Panthers cop out. I can't believe that. And they face the Sharks. So, yeah. Panthers did the 4-peat last season. They're trying to go for 5 in a row. They lost some real stalwarts again this year. They lost Jerome Luai, Sunya Taruva, James Fisher-Harris, who's gone to the Warriors. And the Sharks have a particularly poor record against Penrith. They've only won 1 out of the last 9 games against them.
Did they beat them at the start of last season, though? Or have I got that wrong. Okay.
No, that was the Melbourne Storm beat the Panthers 6-0 one game early in the season. Yeah. Super low scoring, bludger, but really good defensive performance by the Storm. Yeah, no, so it wasn't them. They played twice last season against the Panthers. They got dismantled 42-0 at home against the Panthers in an embarrassing performance. And then it was slightly better in finals. They got to the prelim final, which is, the semi basically, and they lost 26-6.
Yeah, watch that one.
Against the Panthers. It was a tight first half. It could have been closer at half time. Then there was a fumbled ball, I think, by Toby Rudolph about 10 minutes into the second half. And the game slowly started to flip. So I thought the scoreline didn't reflect that game. And it was a lot closer than it felt. that 26-6. And the Sharks are a proper unit this season. Now, Penrith tend to not start the season well. So a few questions. Is Nathan Cleary going to be fit? How are they going to replace these stalwarts that have left?
Yeah.
There were rumours of Blaise Taulagi, superstar kid, playing at 5'8". He's actually the player that's conceded the most tries and line breaks and has the worst defensive stats in the entire NRL.
Right.
It's horrific because he came over from the Parramatta Eels. This morning, team news came out and he's not actually playing. So they put, I think, Jack Cole in at 5'8".
Yeah, Jack Cole, yeah.
Probably because they don't want to risk that.
What's Jack Cole like? Do you know much about him?
Run of the mill. I mean, nothing special.
Right.
No, nothing particularly special. So the dominant half will be Cleary. I imagine he'll be playing both sides of the ruck. And Jack Cole just want to be a steady Eddie and make sure that, nothing stupid happens on that left edge. So, yeah, I'm lukewarm about the Panthers in this one, guys. The shot?
Up Cronulla?
Ask me about that. Yeah, Cronulla. Up Cronulla, like the song goes.
Yeah. Does Bo Ryan still hang around Cronulla?
It's probably with Liam Moore. You might bump into them both in the pub in Vegas. I don't know who he is, Carl. Is he before my age?
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, the Bo Ryan. He used to play on the wing for Cronulla. And then there used to be a show called The Footy Show in Australia. I used to watch it all the time, even though I didn't watch that much rugby. And he had a segment on the Footy Show. So go and check it out. It used to be, it was funny as hell. And he used to do like Sam Burgess impressions and Benji Marshall. Yeah, and he brought a song out as well at one point. So yeah, go check it out, Bo Ryan.
I will do. I'll put the song up Cronulla as my ringtone on the phone as well, just for the weekend, because maybe that way we can channel a Sharkies win.
Right.
Yeah. So no, they're a proper unit. They look like the real deal this season, and we've done a few shows and podcasts ourselves saying they could be the team to win the minor premiership in Australia.
Ooh.
They are that good. They're a serious outfit. They've got massive forwards. They've got strike on both edges. They've got an awesome bench. They've got depth. They look like they're mentally sound. And yeah, I think they're a serious bet to win the minor premiership.
You heard it here first.
Panthers last year, looking at the Penrith Panthers last year, they only just sort of cruised through the normal season and then started peaking as finals started. So they weren't that impressive, but they peaked at the right time and they dominated. This season, it could well be the same thing. So this could be a tough game for Penrith. Lots of English fans think it's going to be a walkover for Penrith. I think it'll be anything but. It'll be tight. It could even be a draw, and the Sharks could even do them. I mean, the Sharks are a proper outfit. So, yeah. Do you want to have a look at what players to look out for?
Yeah. Definitely.
So for the Panthers, I mean, I didn't want to put him up because everyone knows him, but it's got to be the golden boy Nathan Cleary, right? I mean, not very exciting, but he is literally the best player in the game, arguably the best player in the world.
He won't get in Wigan team though, would he? No, it's true. Chris Radlinski said that. He said, look, we ain't signing him. I've got 2 quality halfbacks. He did say that.
I know you
he
are.
did say that.
Yeah, so best player in the game, worth 8 to 10 points a game probably. King of drop goals, king of controlling possession, moving his team around the park. Can kick a 40-20 from anywhere. Generational talent. But the question is, how fit is he? I have a feeling he might start the season slowly. I might be wrong, because he had shoulder complaints and there were rumours of him having to get injected numerous times. He did have shoulder surgery in the off-season. So, yeah, we wait to see how fit he is. Because in the preseason games, they've only played kids, Penrith. We haven't seen a single first-team player virtually. So we had no indication of what they're going to be like. Yeah. Historically, not great, Panthers, at this time of season. So we might see a shock. And then the other player to look out for is probably right side back rower Liam Martin. Have you seen him play? You must have seen him play for Australia and in Origin.
Yeah, is he not knocking on a bit now, is he? Or he seems to be been around for years.
Yeah, no, I think he's younger than he looks.
Right.
He's a bit of a savage. He's got that bulldog spirit, hasn't he?
Yeah.
British bulldog spirit. Yeah, so he's a savage in defence and attack. He's a big try threat. He's not the kind of guy you'd want if you're trying to, break into a car in an Aldi supermarket at night and it ended up his car. It it wouldn't be pretty. Get chased out with a baseball bat.
You're right. I mean, he always seems to be in the
that.
right place, right time, and like you say, and that leads to tries, especially when he's as powerful as he is. So, yeah, excited to watch him.
He runs a great line. Yeah, so definite try threat. And for the Sharks, I think you've got to look for Tongan superstar Aden Fanua-Blake. He'll be playing at prop. He should get, I imagine, 60 minutes or so for this game, and the Panthers are going to have their hands full trying to keep tabs on him. He's also a serious try threat. He's one of the top scoring second rowers in Australia over the last few seasons. So serious weapon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching him.
Look out for a 6'8" bald guy called Tom Hazelton. Have you seen him play?
No.
He's really, really good. Big try threat as well. So Tom Hazelton on the interchange bench. He can do everything. He plays big minutes, safe in possession, try threat, very good defender. But Cronulla probably won't be able to hold on to him because they won't have the space in their salary cap. So the rumours are he could be going to the Roosters. But big, tall, 6'8" bald guy, Tom Hazelton. Love that guy. And also Kale Iro, their left centre, is also an absolute gun. So those are the three to watch for the Sharkies.
Yeah.
Master of disaster.
Yeah.
Controversial one, Nico Hines.
Oh.
The Cronulla Sharks halfback. Oh dear. This is controversial, guys. Because he's like Marmite. You either love him or hate him.
Well, the Aussies...
I wouldn't have him in my team.
The Aussies, they're quite happily to give you a little bit of stick on the social media comments, mate. I've seen them every now and then. So, yeah, it could be a controversial one, this.
This is definitely controversial. Because if you play Supercoach, which is the Australian NRL fantasy thing, he's the first player you buy. I wouldn't have him anywhere near my team. He just looks good on camera. He's got the long hair. He looks like he should be in a Pantene advert or something, modelling shampoo.
That's how we imagine you to look,
he's
mate.
Unreliable. He's unreliable. He kicks balls out on the full. He can have a stinker. I don't think this narrow pitch is going to suit him. I mean, I couldn't be having him. So
any indication of how his pre-season, any matches in the pre-season's gone for him?
No, nothing. He's been kept under wraps. No, actually, he did play one game. He played the first game, and he was decent in the first game. He did look sharp. So I think, he's got a proper pre-season under his belt this time. He's not injured. He spent a lot of time last year out injured. He didn't make Origin. That hurt his confidence, hurt his feelings. But apparently he's back. He's sorted himself out and he's raring to go this season. But I'm not really buying it. I'd rather have him at fullback potentially and Daniel Atkinson in the halves, who's one of their superstar kids. So controversial, potential spanner in the works could be Nico Hines. See those balls out on the full? You'll remember this podcast.
Yep.
Right, Sniper, it's betting time. Have you got another bet for us on this game?
I do, guys. So this is the banker.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. So what we're looking for on this match, guys, is under 41.5 match points.
Right.
So that means if you add the two scores together, it has to equal under 41.5 points. I wouldn't take under 40 points because it could end up 20 all, and then we'd end up losing. So the market is generally about 40.5 points now. I'd wait till it moves to 41.5. You'll probably see it over the course of the next 2 or 3 days, and that'll be around even money. So that's the one that we like over the course of this weekend.
I mean, it seems to me, like reading between the lines, that you're continuing this thought. Perhaps it's just influencing you a little bit of a potential draw.
This is the second time we've spoken about this.
Yeah.
This game could easily be a draw.
Yeah.
Easily. And it seems like it's a banker, low-scoring event. You've got two forward packs that are going to cancel each other out. You've got a narrow pitch. Can't see them hitting the wings that often. Points will be at a premium. The interchange bench is going to be really important. It could be settled by a drop goal here or there. If you look at the stats from last season, though, there was 1 2-point field goal attempt that was missed. 5 of the 8 wingers did score. So it didn't. What I'm saying now didn't really happen last season, but I think it's on the agenda because they want that Hail Mary play. Which game it's going to happen is hard to say. if I had to single out a game that I thought would be a draw, it would be this one. But the New Zealand Warriors, I think, had 3 draws last season. So it could even be the first one. So if you want to chuck a cheeky fiver on both games being a draw, then, probably fund your Vegas trip for next year, guys. Possible. Right. Not impossible.
Right, so just a quick shout out. So the Snipers give us 2 tips there, 2 hot tips. So if you want to join the Snipers Club, check the links below. And if you get in touch with them first and use the code SIXAGAIN, and 6 again, you'll get 6 extra days on the Sniper. You'll get 6 extra days on us. So you get an extra 12 days in the Snipers Club for all the hottest NRL and Super League tips.
Sounds great, guys. What about the women's game? And I'm just going to put a question out there.
Yeah, go on.
For the women's game, we've got a few superstar Gillaroos players playing. A couple of them, I think you'll know from, because they're English, right?
Yeah.
Who are they? Georgia Roach?
Yeah, you got Georgia Roach from Newcastle. He's back with the England team this year. It's the first time she's played with them for 12 months. You got Holly Mae Dodd from Canberra, who plays for Canberra as well. So they're back with the England team. However, the Gillaroos, most of them are sort of full-time professionals, aren't they? During the season. I think it's going to be a difficult ask for England.
Yeah, they are. So the interesting thing here is the line opened up at 24 2 days ago, right? So they're expecting a difference in the scores of 24 points. That's been backed into about 28. So you're looking at a 5 converted tries, roughly, difference between Australia and England. Do you think that's too much?
This is the great conundrum of this game, isn't it? And it, like you said earlier on before we come on air, is like it's almost a what's the score going to be rather than who's going to win. And as well as that, the other question is will England have enough to score? So I don't think that's too much. I think it's respectful enough of both sides. So for me, it's probably what I'd expect.
It's a fair. The thing with the England side is as well, they haven't had much competition to play against in the last few years. I mean, England have played the last few years. They've played against Wales each season, and there's not been much more than that in terms of testing them as a national side. And I think that's going to play against them. And also, it's a fairly young England side. Is this? You've only got some sort of old stages, who've been around there and won the big occasions. Hardcastle, Jodie Cunningham, Shauna Hoyle, they've all been in that England camp for quite a number of years. But the rest of the side is fairly inexperienced. I think it's going to be a difficult afternoon against the Gillaroos. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to call. You've got a couple of superstars, Aussie superstars. Look out for Taryn Aiken, who's the fullback.
Oh, yeah, she's
an absolute
quality.
Weapon.
Yeah.
She can score from anywhere.
She scored the try in the State of Origin, didn't she?
She did, yeah. She's recently left Newcastle, where she was a club legend. She's gone to the Broncos, and she's going to carve. So she's a pretty good shout if you're thinking of having a bet for the women's game. That 26, 28-point margin, I think it depends on whether the Aussie women are undercooked or not, because they haven't played for a while. We saw a few of the players play in the female All-Stars game between the Indigenous and the Maoris, and it was a little bit looser than you'd expect. So it may be that somehow or some way, if England can retain possession, avoid cheap turnovers, then they might be able to hang in there on that narrow pitch. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Right.
That try score is probably a bit of a lock. Keep your eyes on Taryn Aiken.
Yeah, I think we got everything, haven't we? Yeah. Sniper, is anything else I should have asked you tonight?
I think that's pretty much it, guys. The main thing here is let's feed the algo. Let's smash that subscribe button on YouTube and make sure that we get the guys to 1 million views as quickly as possible. We're on 503,000 last time I looked. So the more we smash that button, the more we can get rid of those crap BBC and normal media channels, and we can get more great content out to you. So let's do this together, guys.
Cheers, Sniper.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sniper. Take care.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Always insightful from the Sniper. Before we move on, I just want to break from the show and just talk a little bit about the rugby store. Now, there's not often that we've got something great to rave about in rugby league. We've got two great things now. One is Vegas. Two is this relatively new retail store in Hull that has actually just gone against the trend of online shopping and have created an amazing space where you can get everything related to rugby league. So if you want NRL shirts that you physically want to see and try on and test the quality of, you can do that. If you want Super League shirts across the whole of the clubs in the Super League, they've got that too. If you want all the accessories from boots to kicking tees to oddball pants and everything in between, they've got that as well. So if you want a true shopping experience and you're into rugby league, get yourself to the rugbystore.co.uk. The kid there, Declan, is incredibly knowledgeable but also extremely passionate in making this work. And in a world of AI and fake news and all that and online shopping, okay, sometimes all we want is some authenticity and to deal with a real person. You can do that in the Rugby Store. So if you're in Hull and you want to get something rugby league related, get yourself to the Rugby Store. And you can go to their website online, therugbystore.co.uk, and both physically and digitally, you can get yourself 10% any purchase by using coupon code NRL Outsiders during checkout. Back to the show. Right, okay, so to close the show, Karl, I just want to talk a little bit about our expected publishing schedule whilst we're out there. Now, we don't know what's going to happen to you out there, do we? We don't know whether you're coming back with a Tyson tattoo on.
Can we say publishing schedule, and it's lightly
loose?
Yeah, loosely publishing schedule. We hope to be live at 7 o'clock UK time. On the Friday and the Saturday, which is 11 o'clock Vegas time.
Yeah, so
that's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah, 7 o'clock being 1900. Okay, so 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm going to get a little bit of a rundown of what's happening. On the 28th, Karl's going to talk about his journey out there, who he's bumped into, what the general feeling is amongst the fans, anybody that he's bumped into that's involved in rugby league, and who knows, Karl has a way of sniffing out Sky presenters to bloody statisticians to top journalists, whatever. Okay, so who knows who he'll have talked to. And we're also going to share a little bit of a vlog each day of some of the things that Karl's getting up to. So Karl, what is earmarked for you to visit out there?
Well, the first night that I arrived, the Thursday night, there's it's Fremont Street. There's a big Vegas party going on that night. I get there just as kind of it'll be sort of just coming to an end, but I think it's pretty much going to be going on all night. So there'll be loads of NRL players, Super League players knocking around in that area, fans, big fan zone everywhere. So I'll get stuck into that, see what happens. The day after, I'll be doing a live back here, just talking about that. I'll be going to the Vegas Nines, and then I'll be popping back over to the fan zone and stuff like that. Again, I think there's loads going on. I'll just get stuck into it. There's also the Greece versus USA game in the evening, and then on the Saturday it's the big day at the Allegiant Stadium.
As well as that, there's going to be a couple of occasions where Karl, if he sees fit, he's just going to whack the old phone on live and go live on YouTube and just kind of walk us through what's going on. So you're not going to want to miss any of that. For a completely different view of what's going on at Vegas, and to also join an outsider out there in Sin City, then you need to subscribe, hit the bell to make sure you get all the notifications for those things going on. Now, we are on the verge of hitting 3,000 subscribers. For some channels, that doesn't seem a great deal, but to us, that just seems monumental, bearing in mind that it was only probably 30 days or maybe even less that we ticked over to 2,000 subscribers. We're experiencing a massive amount of growth. So if you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome and thank you for joining us and coming along for the ride. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because it is the very best way of letting us know that what we're turning out is exactly what you want to hear and see. Karl, anything to close?
Yeah, just drop it in the comments. If there's anything you want me to see, do in Vegas, or even if you want to meet up with me, drop it in the comments, let me know. I'll get in touch with you and we'll see what we can do.
Great. So until the next time, hopefully Karl will survive Vegas. Take care.